Hey guys, how's it going? It's your boy, Big Blueger 97 here, coming at you with a My Hero Academia review of manga chapter 273, titled The Thrill of Destruction. So yeah, for the most part, this chapter is a continuation of the previous chapter, manga chapter 272, and for the most part, we just get two crucial halves of this chapter. The first half of the chapter is basically the students coming to the realization that they're fucked and they try to escape. And the second part is more of the aftermath and continuation of what is happening at the Paranormal Liberation Front hideout. So with that little roadmap ahead of us, I actually want to start off by talking about the beginning of this chapter, specifically how the beginning of this chapter is a continuation of the end of 272. So we start this chapter off with Deku continuing his 45% St. Louis Smash Air Force, where he attempted to try to stop the decay from happening, tried to push it back, and we get panels of the decay coming forward, the shockwave hitting it, and then come to the realization that the shockwave did absolutely nothing, and in actuality it looks like the decay is coming faster. And then we get a little bit of input from both Ochako and Froppy, where they're like, Ochako is basically like, oh no, the shockwave didn't do anything, and Froppy is like, and it looks like everything is turning to dust, Ribbit. And while that happens, we actually get a flashback and a callback to the first moments that Shigaraki and Deku talked. That moment where they're in the mall, where Shigaraki placed all 4 of his fingers on Deku's neck and was basically telling him, hey, with my quirk, once I place all 5 fingers in one location, especially on your neck, it'll start to decay from the outside inward. Nothing but dust in a minute. And as Deku remembers this and he connects the dots, it's like Shigaraki. So he comes to the realization that this decay is coming from him and that they pretty much gotta get out of there right now. So then we get Burnin, you know Burnin, the very hot lady. She basically tells all of the kid heroes to yo, let's get out of here. But while she says this, you have Shoto, who tries to make an effort to try to stop the decay as well, using his ability, using his super move, Heaven-Piercing Ice Wall. It does nothing at all. You can even see the decay on the ice. It does nothing. So we just get a few panels of all of the heroes trying to escape. All these students trying to carry any civilians on their backs, using their quirks and trying to escape, while Burnin is on the radio trying to communicate with the other heroes. It's hey, anybody there? Anybody there? Somebody answer me! As we get the title of The Thrill of Destruction. And one little panel that I want to point out specifically is Deku, where we see him using Black Whip, and he's not just carrying people with his Black Whip, but he is carrying an entire bus, which we can assume has at least one person. Most likely the bus is filled with people. So this shows how strong Deku is, not just physically, but also with his Black Whip work, and it also shows how much development he has gone through since we saw him fully implemented during the winter break, where he was able to only hold up a few cars, where now he's able to hold up an entire bus, assumingly filled with people. And so now, after we see the children trying to escape the decay, we actually cut over to Shigaraki and what he is doing at the moment after he has woken up, after he has sent out the decay to destroy everything around him. So we cut over to him and we see that he's on this little small circular platform, where he comes to the realization that he has control on what he can and can't decay. So from what we know, as soon as he takes all 5 fingers on something, it's instantly decays. And then we also realize later on that he can do it with 2 fingers or 1 fingers, but for the most part, it's not as destructive as when he does all 5 fingers. So now he comes to this realization that, oh, I can control how much I can decay. That's neat. But before he comes to that realization, we actually get something interesting that I never thought that I would see. we see that Exless actually did something crucial to the plot. He actually contributed to the battle, besides being fodder for Shigaraki. Because we see that the machine that Exless made a comment about in a few chapters ago, I'm pretty sure chapter 270, where he's like, I should probably destroy that machine. And we see the machine now right behind Shigaraki, where he makes a comment of like, oh man, the doctor spent so much recreating things. Overhaul would be so ashamed. Implying that what that machine was a way to replicate the quirk destroying drug. So, I will give you this, Exless. You did something amazing. Sure, the villains have Gigantomachia, who's impervious to damage, and Shigaraki that can decay everything, but at least they don't have the quirk destroying drugs. And you know what? That's actually probably the best thing that you could have done, because if they had that triple threat on their side, the Hero Society and the world would have been fucked. So, thanks, Exless. You did something great. We get a little bit more details on the fact that Shigaraki can control his decay, but we also get like something else in this as well. We see that he sees a phone, but before he sees the phone, you see like a little thought bubble that has the word destroy on it. And if you actually look up destroy, it's kind of like a shorter version of destroy. And we don't get confirmation on where that word is coming from or who is saying it, but it's very likely that it is coming from Shigaraki, that he is subconsciously thinking of destroying everything, because as soon as he like picks up the phone, he starts talking about like, man, I just woke up, but this isn't supposed to be happening. Like, as soon as I woke up, I should be able to be destroying everything. Oh well, might as well start destroying things now. Sure, it's a little bit early, but yeah. So he picks up a phone and he calls for Gigantomachia, and basically like, hey Gigantomachia, come here and bring the others. I'm ready to destroy, which is probably the others would be like Compress, Dabi, Toga, like the original League of Villain members. And we see Gigantomachia. His eyes glows because he's like, Master gave me an order. I'm ready to go. So yeah, Gigantomachia is about to enter this battle. But yeah, after that moment with Shigaraki, we cut back over to the mansion where the Paranormal Liberation Front is, and we see Fat Gum, who notices that Tokoyami is flying away, and he's about to flag him down, but like, hey, get over here! Wait. Before Fat Gum like really says anything important, he sees Tokoyami is holding someone, and by the hairstyle and the fact that they zoom in, he recognizes it as Hawks. So he tells Tokoyami, is like, hey, there is medicine and care in the far back. Go there immediately. Where Tokoyami is like, roger that. So Fat Gum knows that Hawks is probably in a whole lot of danger, so he's like not preoccupied with Tokoyami because he's now going to safety. But we also get to see more continuations of the heroes fighting the villains. More importantly, we see Mount Lady coming in, and she's pissed, and she's like, come here, Geddon. I'm gonna turn you into either crushed ice or ice cubes. It's your choice. So she's mad, and we have other heroes there. It's like, yeah, let's go back up, Mount Lady. Yeah. And then we have one hero that notices, hey, what are you doing here? Aren't you like the guy that like restrained Compress and Toga? And so we see like the snake arms guy. So apparently he's alive. I would have sworn that twice. When you have a knife that cuts open the back of your head, you would think that he should be dead, but no, apparently he's not dead, and apparently he has turned to the sides of the villains, and he just starts cutting through all of these heroes, just cutting them. We do not see whether or not they are killed by these knife slashes, but yeah, the snake dude just turns sides, immediately starts cutting through them. Weirdly enough, he does in a way that reminds me of Toga. It might just be a coincidence. But while that is happening, we see Dabi and Compress basically have like a little conversation. Dabi comes in and is like, hey, Compress, where's everybody else? And as Compress being Compress, it's like, Dabi, what are you doing? Aren't you a lieutenant? Where Dabi also responds with, well, aren't you? So I just enjoyed that banter that they had. It's like, but then we have Compress basically confirming that, well, it doesn't really matter about the lieutenant since, it doesn't matter since they sneak attacked us. So Who cares? But then he starts talking about like, yeah, but can't believe that Twice is dead. And he's like, yeah, I tried to stop Toga. She's usually calm, collected. Right now, she's none of those. She's going on a suicide mission. So, if you didn't catch on, yeah, the snake guy is actually Toga using her quirk to disguise as him. So yeah, it's Toga took out all of those heroes, and she's basically on a suicide mission for the most part. But then, what I like about this is what she says. It's hard to live. I just want to live easy in a world with all of the things that I love. But you heroes just keep messing it up. As she says this, her little like melts, her face basically begins to melt as we see the anger and like the shades under her eyes, where it shows that she's mad about the fact that the heroes killed Twice. And we see her in a position where she looks like a monster as Makiya's hand just breaks through the wall from the basement as he's about to enter the battle. I said this once and I'm gonna say it again. The heroes are fucked. So after we see Makiya's hand breach the ground itself, we cut over to Endeavor going over to Shigaraki, assuming to kill him with the big, huge flames behind his hands, aiming at Shigaraki. And all Shigaraki can really say as Endeavor yells, "Shigaraki!" Shigaraki is like, ah, #1 hero. Aren't you a wake-up call? As the chapter ends, and let me just say that Shigaraki knows that he is in the best situation possible, so he just nonchalantly is not afraid of literally the #1 hero as he's like, oh wow, you're a wake-up call. As the chapter ends, and let me just say, really good chapter. A lot of what I thought was going to go down in this chapter actually happened, particularly when it came to the focus on the villains after Twice's death. That's something that I thought was going to eventually happen, and it did. We got to see the fact that the students were unable to really do anything against the decay, which I thought was going to be very obvious was going to happen, and seeing them run away was something that I pretty much predicted, so that was something I expected. I didn't really expect the fact that I'll say this: I really enjoy the fact that we had a lot of things that are callbacks to the beginning of the story. The fact that we get callback to Shigaraki talking to Deku about his quirk, Shigaraki's quirk, and like how that ties into the current story of how he says, "Oh, this is all Shigaraki's quirk." And also we get references to the quirk erasing drugs and how they were able to find a way to mass produce it. Now they don't have that. And even though, yes, they do have Shigaraki, who has the ability to decay anything, he doesn't have the quirk erasing drug, meaning that the heroes still have a chance to fight back and not have to worry about their quirks being taken away. We also get the reveal that Shigaraki can fully control when he can decay and what he can decay, which just shows how powerful he has become to the point where he can control like whether or not something can decay, which would explain and why he's not afraid to pick up the phone and contact him, as well as like how he's able to like touch certain parts, like how he was able to like basically like scratch his head and not start to decay it. And that's something else that I didn't mention during this time, but also like the continuity with Shigaraki, the fact that he only has 2 fingers on his left hand, which is his pinky as well as his finger, because Destro like broke off his other 2 fingers and his thumbs. So from what I'm understanding, it's potential that he probably can not use decay with his left hand. He can probably only use it with his right, but that is pretty much enough to like basically destroy anyone in his way. So that's something that I really enjoyed, as well as like the end of this chapter where it shows the setup between Shigaraki and Endeavor, and potentially in the next chapter that they're going to come into clash, as well as seeing Makiya potentially grabbing up all of the villains, destroying the hero side like hugely. If anything, we're probably going to see a fight between Mount Lady and Makiya soon, because they are big people, and it'll just be like a cool way to see 2 kaijus fighting and potentially see more aftermath of what the hero kids are doing in the city and how they're trying to escape decay. So yeah, That's pretty much all I really want to talk about when it comes to this chapter. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Hopefully you'll like this video. Leave a comment down below. Subscribe. Do all of that cool jazz. Hopefully I'll be able to catch you in my next video. Goodbye for now. And